flowing in their veins. Mackie and Judd on SKOR North and SKORNorth.com.
Yeah. Boy, well, the Vikings are just wheeling and dealing here. We're going to get to sort of a what the hell are the Vikings doing on this day after roster cuts. Couple trades yesterday. Judd's been doing some insiding, I think, so we'll definitely get to some of that conversation. But it's been a while since we have welcomed our friend and the most passionate Vikings fan we know to the show here on Mackie and Judd. And so let's check in with our guy Randy in Cottage Grove right off the bat here. Randy,
yeah.
I think it's been since the draft time. I feel like it's been a few months here. How you doing?
School. Yeah, good. It's been a long, sort of a long off season. So I mean, it's always tough to kind of go, but wait for football. But it's time now. I got my sights set on what we all should have our sights set on, and that's the Super Bowl. So I'm kind of put a lot of it in perspective with some medical issues, but we're trying to get those under control, and we're ready for a good season.
Well, I don't want to pry, but the medical issues, are you doing okay?
Well, it's I think I've been open on this program before. I'm one of the many Americans who suffers from tinea cruris. It's an affliction.
What's tinea? I forgot what tinea cruris is.
It's an affliction, and I'm one of the many Americans who suffers from it.
It's athlete's foot, right?
It's jock itch.
Or jock itch.
Jock itch.
That's a derogatory term. Does tend to affect athletic people like myself more, but we try to get. It comes and goes. It flares and it goes down. But right now it's kind of warm out, so it's a little tricky.
Well, we got good news for you. This might actually be good timing here with your jock itch or whatever tinea cruris, and that starting next week, assuming that you would like to continue delivering your dud and stud stables as the season starts, your segments are going to be sponsored by our friends at Chill Boys, who produce the most comfortable underwear on the planet. Should really help with any sort of itching you may have down there. Keep you cool, calm, and collected below the equator, Andy.
Do I get money for it?
Well, no. I mean, we're just it's our show. They have been a longtime partner of ours, and we just
I give it a shot. I mean, I've tried to bring sponsors on this show before, and you always cut me off.
Well, that's because it's our
show. Dude.
I'll give them a shot. I'll try anything once. I mean, I like Chill Boy. I have some Chill Boys in the fridge right now. Some big tall boys.
Oh, there you go.
Some of those 20 ounce.
What if we start with we'll send you some actual Chill Boys, right? Well, so we got some purple boxer briefs, bamboo fabric. We got athletic fit. We'll send you some product, and you can tell us how you feel down there.
I'll give a shot. I'll report back.
But they're not beer.
I got both kinds. I got the 20-ounce bombers. The Corona bombers now are really
all the bombers.
Yeah,
you can knock one of those. People say they get warm too quick. You're drinking too slow.
That's right.
You got to knock them back.
Sure. That's a good slogan right there. Yeah, if you think your beer's getting warm too quick, you're not drinking fast enough. So what? I'm assuming that you've kind of kept up with training camp here over the past few weeks. We're almost to the regular season, but what have you seen? Observing camp, anything you like with this Viking squad?
You know what? This is the last year where I'm not allowed to go there. Should be good next year, finally again. But I did hear some things, and one of the things that I really like is, I've always been kind of down on Cousins. I don't think he's enough of a tough customer. But apparently the things might be changing. I mean, something got into his craw, and from what I hear, he cusses now, and that's a big change and a good change. If he can start to cuss out, other players, the zebras, just kind of get in people's mix and drop. Don't be afraid, Kirk, to drop an F-bomb, drop an MF bomb or two, and it sounds like he's doing that. And if that's the case, all bets are off.
Well, so because Kirk was caught with some sort of boom microphone. Or maybe it was just like
the
fans loud enough in the fans.
The fans heard it.
Yeah. So him dropping bad words now and MFers and stuff, that has you feeling more confident in what he can do.
If he's gonna let it fly, yeah. And everybody knows he's got a cannon. People what we question is his makeup. Is he willing to be nasty and dirty and be a tough customer? And Kirk, lean into it. You know, you can be the guy who cusses more than any quarterback in the league if you want to put your mind to it. Go for it.
That's the stat.
I hope so.
F-bombs, MF bombs.
I'm sorry, Jeff. Did you cover number 4? He liked to cuss.
I did cover number 4. Jeff did,
and he likes to cut. He was a great cusser, one of the greatest cussers.
I'd have to go back and look, but I'm sure he was.
He let it fly.
Why are you banned from practices?
There was an issue with some photography, and I'll just leave it at that. Just leave it.
Whoa.
They have those signs up now. Don't share what's going on with the other teams. And I take a higher quality of video than most who go. You know, and I know what parts of the plays to look at and ISO on, and you know, I had a lot of stuff that if it got out, it would be bad.
Okay, that seems to go very much against the grain of what Kevin O'Connell was asking fans to do, and I get that this happened apparently before Kevin O'Connell took over, but I mean, he's asking fans to do right by the team and don't put that footage out. So,
and this is the old regime. You know, the new regime is in, and the new regime is changing the rules. So I took a break. Okay, I'll be back.
Okay, all right.
Also, don't have a license at the moment. So just if you need to know, that's part of the problem too.
That's too bad, man. Well, they
so
do
you're
have
not
Ubers
working,
and Lyfts and things.
No license, and you can't go to practice.
I can still watch the purple and break it down. And if you'd like, I could even get a little practice in here. Give you a little 53 man, some studs from the 53 man if you like.
Yeah, let's just do a quick little stud stable here. Just a little, you know, we can we'll tee you up here. This is like your preseason stud stable going into the real deal here in about a week and a half. So let's do it. This is Randy and Cottage Grove's preseason stud stable here. Let's do it quick. Randy? Randy? He's gone. Randy, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
We got you, yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and do the preseason stud stable.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's fire it up.
Starting off, we really like this guy, Brian Asamoah, too.
Yeah, Brian Asamoah has had a great preseason so far.
He's a stud. Next up, another stud that I really like from this 53 man is Ross Blacklock. Ross is a guy who definitely, I think, is going to make some real splashy arrival this year. Ross Blacklock, you're a stud. Andrew Booth Jr., one of the real guys to watch from this rookie class, and I think it's safe to say already that he's going to be in this stable a lot this year. Andrew Booth, you're one of my 53 man studs. Chris Boyd. Chris Boyd.
Randy, are you just reading the roster alphabetically right now?
They're stud. Do you see anyone on this 53 who's not a stud?
I mean, Chris Boyd might be the line that I draw, in all fairness.
Did he not make an NFL roster?
And you're only in the B's. That's what scares me.
There's a lot of studs.
We got a limit on the show, man.
Yeah, why don't you just give us one more stud? Just one more stud.
Well, my next one is Garrett Bradbury.
Oh. Okay. All right.
Okay.
It's
Randy, thank you, man.
We gotta go.
Appreciate that.
The kind of guy.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Randy.
Did we cut him off this time?
Yes.
It's a rarity
I think
for
we
us.
did.
He ordinarily hangs up on us.
That's correct.
So, all right. Well, that's the most passionate Vikings fan we know. Randy Vikes 69 on Twitter. If you want to follow his analysis. And in fairness, I should have mentioned this off the top for those uninitiated. He has nailed 3 first-round draft picks. He missed this one, but like 3 of the last 4, I want to say. Or he nailed two of the last 3, and then he nailed Janarius Robinson last year in like the 4th round or something. So I don't know where he gets his information, how he gets the inside information that he gets, but somehow he is, I don't know if plugged in is the right way to phrase it.
He's plugged in all right.
He's plugged.
He's plugged in. Might not be to the Vikings.
No, he's plugged into.
Might be to his kegerator.
Into something. So what are the Vikings doing here? So yesterday they traded Jesse Davis to the Steelers for a conditional 7th rounder. and they wind up clearing almost $3 million in cap space with that move. They cut Armon Watts, who's been I don't think anyone had him on the radar for just like not being on the 53. I mean, he's not necessarily a Pro Bowler, but it's kind of a shocking cut there. And then they trade with the Texans for second round pick a couple years ago, Ross Blacklock, defensive tackle, and they swap a 6th for a 7th to make that happen. PFF had him, by the way, as one of the worst graded interior defensive linemen in the league the last couple of years. Atrocious defending the run.
Yeah, can't stop the run.
Not as bad against the pass. And so, what are they doing here?
Well, the only thing that I can figure is they're trying to clear cap space for a move or two. The thing about it is, it's not like it gives them a ton of space. It does give them more. So here is the reckless speculation being thrown out. There's a couple of paths here. The first one is this. The Vikings are going to try and pursue, and it's not going to be a big name, but the Vikings are going to try and pursue a center that they basically saw Bradbury and said, you know what, this very well might not be doable. Austin Schlottman played okay in training camp, but we need to be prepared to have an upgrade, because it would be a shame. Like if you go into the opener with this high flying offense, right? Skill positions, your offensive line certainly improved. I mean, your tackles are good. At least one of your guards is probably solid, and you get undermined by one guy. So that the first theory is that before today is done, at the very least, that they might claim a center. But that doesn't really explain then why you're trying to clear cap room. The only thing I can figure, because the Watts move was shocking. Like, he's not a huge name, but it was, no one saw that.
He's
coming.
A good rotational player.
Exactly. And he was, throughout the course of training camp practices, a starter. So, like, it was going to be Phillips, Tomlinson, Watts. And the Blacklock trade, to what you just read, Phil, it gives you a body back, and it does, again, cut salary, but it does not give you a guy who you want to start. In fact, I think he was a second-round pick in 2020. I think he's played in like 29 games and started like 4 times. So the working theory is that the Vikings might be in contention post-week 1 for Ndamukong Suh. Because Ndamukong Suh then makes sense, but it would be post-week 1, because if you were to sign him now, on September 11th, his contract becomes guaranteed for the season.
Yes.
And if you're not going to have him in training camp, there's not really a compelling case unless you desperately want him to now pay him and guarantee his contract.
Yeah. So the other shoe might not drop, or the other cleat, if you will, for another week or two.
Exactly. But the point is, if you look at the areas now where there have to be definite concerns, center on offense, and that Watts move is not going to make sense until we see a corresponding move there. And Blacklock is not the corresponding move. He's a body, and he'll play in the first game, but you can't be as bad as the Vikings were the past 2 years against the run and then say, yeah, but you know what? We really don't care about this spot, which is absolutely key against the run.
Yeah. The Jesse Davis thing, to me, it seems to make sense in that Ed Ingram was way better than you thought maybe he was going to be out of the gate, or maybe they expected this all along. And so you don't necessarily need both Jesse Davis and Chris Reed. So if you can recoup some draft value there and some cap space that might help you do something else at a different position, it makes some sense. Verdarian Lowe winds up making the team. Blake Brandel winds up making the team. Oli Udoh winds up making the team. So there were some guys in here that were very much borderline, but maybe younger with more upside, more potential than a Jesse Davis, who's been around the block and has kind of like hit his ceiling as an NFL player. So
absolutely.
So that would make some sense there. But yeah, just I think to your point, it kind of feels like they're up to something here. They've got some irons in the fire. I will throw this out there too in terms of center. I was told sometime in the last few weeks, and this may have fizzled now, that they were very serious about the Chris Reed playing center thing, that was not just sort of an experiment on a whim during training camp, where they had him for a couple weeks taking snaps, and he was the second team center mixing in with Austin Schlottman for a while, and then injuries, and you had documented that there was some center quarterback snap exchange issues. But I was told that, yeah, there were some people that thought he might have a chance to compete as the starting center at some point here. And maybe that's still a thing. I don't think they're super married to Garrett Bradbury beyond like the first couple weeks of the season, even though he hasn't had any real competition at first team in any of the practices.
Right.
So I would definitely keep an eye on that before the first game and even after the first game if they don't add anyone else to the roster. He is, I think, from what I have heard, very much still on a short leash.
So I think your read assessment is correct. I will say this, though, as the common sense executive in sports in this town, playing Chris Reed there would be a bad idea. He's never played a regular season game there. Like if that is your Garrett Bradbury default, it's a bad one. So I would far prefer if they think Schlottman is a swing guy, and that's fine. But if they think that Schlottman is not capable, if Bradbury struggles, of stepping in and starting, I think you definitely today claim somebody off waivers and give that guy a shot. But I would agree, like the Bradbury thing is weird because yes, he took all of the first team snaps. There has been zero like indication that they aren't pleased, but yet in practices he struggled. And probably most importantly, when you have a first round pick and you do not pick up the 5th year option on that player, that is a massive indictment. That's not a small indictment. That is a massive one. And so like it all fits together that they are going to and should very much so give themselves a bailout plan there. And I'm going to tell you right now, I expect those first 2 games to be dreadful. It's Kenny Clark and Philadelphia. Like those are quality defensive tackles against Bradbury. I don't know why we think, oh, that's going to be fun. I mean, Kenny Clark's going to eat him from, he's going to throw him into the 3rd row at the stadium, go sit down and get a beer before I die, preferably. So I don't know why we think, oh man, they'll get by. So yes, they need to have a plan in place.
So I just want to be, I'm going to ask a question here. I just want to be clear. You were pretty spot on with your Kellen Mond observations during training camp, and you stuck to your guns and said, listen, he's you can't put him in a game. It's not there. You've watched enough football and practice in your career. Did you see any signs of improvement at all watching Garrett Bradbury at practice?
In pass protection, no. No, he is who he is. In run blocking, he's fine. He's absolutely fine. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, this offense, or I should say fortunately, this offense is going to pass a lot. And look, I think it's very fair. And the Vikings, and this is what intrigues me, the Vikings yesterday, to their credit, with a new front office staff and coaching staff, basically said, you know what? A lot of guys Rick drafted can't really play. Bradbury's the last guy that they're like sort of holding on to and hoping and thinking that they can change him. You know, I might not agree that Kirk can be changed, but I get the gamble.
But
like,
Kirk is also way better at his job than Garrett
100%.
Bradbury is at his job.
But I mean, I also get the gamble that Kirk can go from being a very solid statistical star at times to being beyond that. So yes, Kirk, but I mean, I get that. And if it doesn't work, okay, that's too bad. But I get what you're doing. On Bradbury, I don't get it.
Yeah. No, it's those are fair questions. By the way, we finalized our Purple Daily lineup on our other daily podcast and YouTube channel for the season. Alex Boone making his return next week. Every single, likely Tuesday, we're going to be posting those episodes. Trenches with Boone. It's going to be Boone and myself on a weekly basis, just based on recording schedules, and then you guys are going to kind of mix in as your schedules allow, so you can get your taste of Booney too. But check it out anywhere you find podcasts: Apple, Spotify, SKORNorth.com, SKOR North app, and the Purple Daily YouTube channel. We have 11 scheduled weekly shows as part of our Purple Daily podcast network. The flagship shows that you find every day with us, and then also Before We Die with Jesse and Thor, Realistic Randy Rants with Declan, Trenches with Boone, Ventline, etc. A shout out to our friends at Aquaside, by the way, for keeping our lakeside areas nice and clean.
Yeah, it's really important to keep those lakeside areas clean. You might be getting the dock out this weekend, right? Or coming up this weekend with Labor Day weekend, and that's kind of the time to maybe end summer a little bit. And when you're knee deep in that water, getting that dock out, maybe take a little bit of examination. Look at that bed of your lake and see if there's any lake weed or algae that could be removed. And Aquaside pellets can help you remove that product. It's a safe product, registered with the EPA and the DNR. They're located in White Bear Lake here in the Twin Cities, or just order their product online. Easy to use website, aquaside.com. Go to aquaside.com to learn more.
And thanks to Federated for keeping the lights on here at SKOR North on a regular basis. Federated is all about providing risk management tools and resources, like a great offensive line for your business to protect against things that may drag you down, that may ding your business. So find out how Federated's been helping businesses for over 100 years at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. We got Write That Down predictions and an accountability session on the show today. Mackie and Judd.